Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So the PTR patch that was on a couple of weeks ago is actually now on live, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing. This has nothing to do with the D.Va and Mercy changes, this has nothing to do with Junktown, this is all stuff that's made its way from the PTR to live. Just in case there are any more changes today to do with the PTR, maybe Junktown will hit the PTR for example, more changes to Mercy, D.Va, whoever else. This is kind of a video to sort of clear things up and talk about what's actually in the live game right now, and we start with the new game mode, Deathmatch, and of course a new map which is Chateau Gillard, which is on Widowmaker's home turf. No doubt you've seen a couple of videos on it so far. We covered it a couple of weeks ago when it hit the PTR initially, and I absolutely adore this game mode. It's great fun for somebody that wants to practice heroes for mechanical skill and not worry about going into quick play and just having horrible team-based games. You could just go on your own, play whatever the hell you want to, and you can have a really good time. Now let's sort of separate the PTR from live and talk about what changes are now on the live servers. And we'll start with this guy who has had his changes actually put into the game so far. And yeah, the main one is that he now can carry two concussive mines, sort of bounce around. As far as damage for his weapon, that's all normal. I think the trap is exactly the same. The only thing really that's different is that he can hold two mines and his tires a little bit faster. Let's just try and get this ultimate to show you real quick what's going on. This is the first time I've kind of done something as live, and as you heard earlier, I've already sort of made the mistake of messing up what I'm saying. But I felt that this video was necessary to get out quickly because I do feel that if, say, something... we're really expecting JUNKRAT today, essentially. And I don't want people getting confused with, oh, the Mercy changes and the D.Va changes are on live, and Junkrat's on the PTR. There's so many changes that are going into the game at the moment. This is an example of how quick the Riptire is now. Moves around quickly, and it can climb up objects infinitely, I feel. So you can sort of fire it up, and you can have a really great time with that as well. So there's one of the main changes out of the four that are on here with hero changes. Let's go on to the next one, which results in this guy who has had a pretty torrid time so far. And it has to do with his take a breather. He can now do it whilst moving, and he takes 50% less damage. And really, I don't know how I feel about it yet. With the changes to D.Va and Mercy as well, I do feel that there's some viability in the new Roadhog now. It's really tricky to say. It's so difficult to talk about Roadhog currently. I prefer the old one, but that's not to say that this new hog can have a bit of resurgence like D.Va did when she was nerfed way back when. We're probably going to cover the changes in a little bit more detail. Like, what's the meta is something that we haven't really discussed with the new changes, but certainly the new D.Va Mercy stuff has a lot to offer with these changes in particular. Orisa has also had a bit of a buff, not really as prevalent or as seeked after as other changes. The main one has to do with her barrier being a little bit more elliptical, providing more cover from above, and her projectile speed has also been increased on her fusion driver by 20%. Essentially, it just makes her a little bit quicker, a little bit less clunky, but the main problem that I have with Orisa at the moment is that her ultimate is essentially the new Mercy's on the PTR. It provides a damage boost to everyone, but ultimately Mercy's is kind of better. It's something that we might talk about in future videos for sure, because Orisa is probably one of the most problematic heroes to get right at the moment. So that's my 2 cents on that. The changes are pretty big, pretty nice for Orisa, but ultimately don't offer too much. And the final hero change, at least, has to do with Widowmaker. Weapon is still the same. The grapple hook's cooldown has been decreased from 8 seconds. Let me try and actually hit something. Oh, from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. I was going to say 8 to 6, my bad. And an interesting thing to do with the... We'll try and see it in action, but we need this guy to run back. You will now be able to see this guy behind walls because of the Venom Mine. So you can easily see what targets have been hit, who was being hit by the Venom Mine, and hopefully take them out. Nice quality of life change to Widowmaker, who I feel is going to have a very popular time with dealing with New Mercy in particular. And because D.Va's a little bit easier to deal with a lack of defense matrix, it kind of all ties together with these changes. Other stuff that might be below the hood that you may not have seen has a lot to do with competitive season, which is starting on Thursday or Friday, I forget. I believe it's sort of late on Thursday for us Brits and those in the EU, but I might need to double check that. Check the comments. I'll double check for this video. But all of the changes that are on the patch notes have to do with the seasons. The seasons are now 2 months, sorry, instead of 3 months. And that, of course, results in you getting less competitive points per season because the seasons are a lot smaller and there will be more of them. Also, a change went in with control, which is essentially that all games are competitive now are best of 3 instead of best of 5. I really like this. Control is one of those game modes that, even though I tend to do well in, I think it's my most popular game mode when it comes to tracking my stats in competitive. It just goes on for so long, especially maps like Oasis that tend to change hands quite a lot, and overtime tends to be a big thing. Having games as long as 30, 40 minutes sometimes, and then when you lose, it can be really, exhausting. It might mean that games are a bit too quick, but really, I do feel that you have that problem in all of the game modes as well. I will take a 5-minute loss on, say, Ilios as opposed to a 35-minute one. And there are a lot of other changes. You should definitely check out the patch notes. We don't want to go through everything that we're essentially just reading off the list. But the main point of this video was to basically separate what's on live versus what's on PR. There are no changes to Diva or Mercy in this so far, as you're seeing. There's no rockets yet. I don't know how long that'll be. The changes to Mercy and Diva are pretty huge, so honestly I would kind of expect to see them on the live server in a few weeks as opposed to anytime soon, along with maybe JUNKRAT. There might be some other changes as well. I'm sure whatever there may be will update you as they go along, but please don't get confused. This is not the PTR, this is all the stuff that's on live. Essentially the JUNKRAT, Roadhog, Widowmaker and Orisa change are all on there, as well as the changes that are coming in Season 6. But that's everything. Let us know what you think of these changes. We've done a lot of discussion about them as well, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out previous videos that we've done on that. Sorry if this was a little bit long-winded. It's the first time I've kind of done this live, but I really wanted to get this out as soon as possible just to avoid any confusion for people. But until next time, take care. We'll see you then.